Hi y'all! Welcome to the third installment of Making It Look Harder Than It Is with your host, me. Today I'm going to make a dessert for you guys. A couple episodes ago I promised I would show you how to make fresh whipped cream. Well, in our grocery order this week we got a ton of whipping cream. I wanted this much, but I got this much. So I figured, well, what would be good underneath of all of that whipping cream? Well, how about a peach cobbler? This one I am going to make from scratch. I'm not going to cheat because it's actually pretty simple to make from scratch, and I feel like it would probably be better that way. So I've pre-measured my ingredients, and you'll notice too I've changed my setup, so hopefully you can see the food a little bit better as I cook these things. We'll try it out and see how it goes. So yeah, so easy peach cobbler. This will make around 4 or 5 servings. In this pan, in this baking pan, I have melted a half stick of butter. That's how you start. You preheat your oven to 375. You put a half stick of butter in the pan you're going to use. You put it in the oven, you let the butter melt, then you pull it out, and then you work with it. The second thing you do is you take flour, which is in this cup, and I have pre-measured everything because you guys do not need to watch me try to measure things, spill half of it, clean it up, and then measure it right. So here, magically, there's a half cup of flour. None of this was ever spilled. Sure. So, in a mixing bowl like this one, my favorite red one here, you're going to put your flour like that. Make sure it all gets in there. And then the other thing you're going to put in there is a half cup of sugar. Again, none of this was spilled. Half cup of sugar. And we don't need to add baking powder or salt to this because I use the self-rising flour because I am a little bit lazy. And that has baking powder and salt in it already. So if you're going to use self-rising flour, do that. If you're going to use regular flour, then you're going to need a half tablespoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt. But if you use self-rising flour, you can omit those things. And then, let's see. Okay, I'm going to combine these together with a fork. Just combine them. You don't need to beat the heck out of it or anything. Just mix them up. And then, that's what it looks like in a bowl. Flour and sugar. And then the next thing is a half cup of milk, which I have right here. In that, you mix into the what's going to make your dough part here. And you don't overmix this or anything, you just combine it. Like that. You just want to break up any little clumps or anything. And it's just the basicest of mixing. Just make sure that it's all together. You don't need to beat the heck out of it or anything. Just mix it up like that, and then it looks a little gloopy, and there it is in the bowl. Now, my cobbler today is going to be peach. And again, because I can't go inside of a grocery store, I'm going to work with frozen food. Here I have a pound of frozen peaches that I got from Kroger. The last ones were pretty daggone good, so we're going to try it again. These go into a saucepan over here on the stove with my other half cup of sugar and with a half tablespoon of lemon juice. And I'm going to put these on the stove and bring them to a boil. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to get these on the stove and get them boiling. Apologies, you can't see that part. I don't have a camera crew. Okay. Back over here. This dough that we mixed up, we're going to pour on top of, actually I'm going to make sure the melted butter is spread out real nice in a pan like this. And then I'm going to pour this over top of it. Now, this may sound backwards. I know it did to me when I first considered making this. Because, you know, the crust on a cobbler is really on the top of it, right? So why would you put the crust in first and then the fruit on top? Well, I guess some kind of cooking magic happens in the oven where it kind of bubbles up over top of the fruit as it cooks, and that's how you get a crust on the top. I never knew that before. I just watched my grandmothers make cobbler and think it was magic, but it's actually really simple. I don't think this fork is going to get all this out of here, so I'm going to get me a spoon. If I can find one. Here we go. Yeah, you want to make sure you get all the batter out of the bowl. Once again, you're going to get to see the bottom of my mixing bowl, which I know is not the best view, but it's a necessary one. So, get that all in there. And I'm going to kind of just, you know, even it out, spread it around. Let it sit there flat, get nice and even. Okay, let's see. I boiled the peaches, I boiled the sugar. Okay. So the fruit and the sugar and the lemon juice have come up to a boil pretty quickly. So when you're making this, you're going to want to be really close by that so that it doesn't burn. It's the first time I'm actually making this recipe. I've been craving cobbler, and it's going to go really nice with the Sunday dinner I'm making this week, which is fried chicken and mashed potatoes. So there we go. I can hear it boiling. So once this is super hot, you pour this over top of everything else you've already got in here, your butter, your flour, etc., etc. And make sure you get all that good juice and sugar and everything in here. And man, I gotta tell you, I wish that you guys could smell things as I cook them. Because wow, this already smells like peach cobbler, and it already smells amazing. And it's not even in the oven yet. So I'm pretty stoked on eating this later. And hopefully you'll be pretty stoked on making it. So yeah, so we did that. Now we're going to sprinkle the top with cinnamon and nutmeg. And it's just a sprinkle. You don't have to go overboard or anything. But I think it's going to add some real nice tastiness to it. Okay, and there it is. And here it is in the pan. It's just peaches and dough and cinnamon and butter. I mean, sugar. And I'm going to put this in a 375 degree oven. Like I said, I've preheated the oven, and I'm going to let it cook for about 30-35 minutes. And then we'll come back and show you the result. And as usual, I've got my trusty oven timer here. And I'm going to set it so that I don't mess up the timing on it. And again, we'll be back here in a second to show you what it looks like when it's done, and also to show you how to make fresh whipped cream from scratch to put on the top of it. So stay tuned. So now, as I have threatened multiple times, I'm going to show you how to make whipped cream from scratch. It's 3 ingredients and an electric mixer, and it's all magic. So I've got my Tupperware here. Now you can keep this in the fridge for a couple of days after you've made it, but it does eventually fall back apart in the fridge. So this is something that you want to make in small quantities and serve fresh. And if you want to make more, you should probably make it fresh. If you need cream for the top of something that you need to stay in the fridge for a few days, I would just stick with the Cool Whip. But if you want to make this stuff fresh, here's how you do it. And again, like I said, it's pretty simple. It's 3 ingredients. You've got your whipping cream. This is, it's just whipping cream. I buy the Kroger kind. It's a heavier cream. And I take, to have a dessert like we're having today, which is a peach cobbler that, you get 4 or 5 servings out of, I use a cup of the whipping cream. This stuff is really thick. I use 2 tablespoons of sugar, tablespoons. I put them in here to make it easier, but it's 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I use, what is this? Yeah, a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, this is another one of those things that you can do to taste. If you like less vanilla, use less vanilla. If you like it super vanilla-y, use more. If you want it a little dab or a little sweeter or a little less sweet. And in fact, I've made fresh whipping cream for I don't know how long, and I've never actually measured these ingredients before. I'm getting very scientific for y'all. So there you go. I always just did it by feel, but that doesn't really help you. You guys need proportions. So it's a cup, 2 tablespoons, and a teaspoon. Bang, bang, boom. Now, for this, you got to break out the power tools. I use a whisk attachment in my electric mixer, and you literally whip it until it's good and fluffy, but we'll show you right here. There you go. So what was it? About a minute and a half of whipping, and there you go. Fresh whipped cream. Yep, and it's pretty daggone good. You put it in there, and it looks like thick milk. You mix it all together until it's good and whipped. That's what we're going to put on top of our peach cobbler. I usually make this while whatever I'm baking to put it on is in the oven. And then I just throw it in a Gladware and throw it in the fridge. Keep it in there until it's time to serve. And like I said, it will keep in the fridge for a couple days, but you'll notice the longer you leave it in there, the more it'll start to separate back down into cream. Because really all that you're doing with whipping cream, you're whipping air into cream to make it fluffy. That's it. So if you think about it, the longer it sits in a cold, damp fridge, the air is going to kind of collapse out of it and it's going to go back to a liquid. So like I said, I usually make just enough for a day or so. And then if I want more, I make more. You can put, if you don't feel like going to the effort of fresh whipped cream, which is not that big of an effort, but if you don't feel like doing that, or if you need something that will keep longer, like I said, use the canned whipped cream, use Cool Whip. The cobbler I'm making is really good with vanilla ice cream on top. You know, whatever your taste, but if you want to make fresh whipped cream, that's how you do it. A minute and a half and 3 ingredients and a little bit of elbow grease and you're good. So there you go. Fresh whipped cream as promised. Okay, so we are back with the first peach cobbler that I ever made, and I'm just going to brag on myself. I knocked it out of the park. This smells awesome. It looks even better. And I'm going to hold it up to the camera for you to see. Look at there. Look at there. Every peach cobbler you ever seen. Any grandma picnic. There it is right there. Man, it smells good too. Dang, dang. Cannot wait to eat this. Hopefully y'all will make it and enjoy it too. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this. Not to say hi to everybody with my giant red unmitted hands. So yeah, happy Sunday, happy cooking, happy eating, more to the point. Hope you guys are hanging in there. It's May now. This is officially the longest year in recorded history, but we'll get through it together. Keep laughing and keep cooking. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Next time, I think I'm going to finally break out a really good vegetarian recipe because I know I have people out there in the audience who do not eat meat the way that I do. So I think next time we're going to attempt a pretty fancy vegetarian recipe. As usual, thanks for watching and see y'all later.